The decision to put Shakur Stevenson on pay-per-view here in America is beyond senseless. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, back with some more boxing. Listen, a lot of you guys said I was wrong, and I know y'all wanted me to be wrong. I told you Shakur Stevenson here in America, his fight with Joe Cordina would be on pay-per-view, but Beterbiev in America won't be on pay-per-view, and I was right. I've already made videos about that. So let's be clear before I get into the ego thoughts of the matter. Shakur Stevenson, listen to what I'm saying to you. Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina and all the fights before are on DAZN pay-per-view. So in essence, it's almost like equivalent to Shakur Stevenson headlining his pay-per-view. I've already received the email from Top Rank to confirm this. Top Rank, the email says they are doing a one-fight telecast with the undisputed fight between Beterbiev and Bivol, which is beyond ridiculous. So you have to actually switch platforms to watch this card in its entirety here in America. Now, that being said, if you're other regions outside of the US, that is not the case. Like if you live in the UK, you can watch all the fights under one card. But Top Rank was wise and they secured the rights for the Beterbiev fight in America, meaning their platform, they made sure that they were able to host that particular fight, and the rest of the card they don't really care about, which is a smart play for Top Rank, because if you had to expend resources, you would want the best fight. You wouldn't really care about broadcasting Chris Eubank versus Camille Says Meta. You really want people to tune into the Beterbiev. So without a doubt, the Beterbiev is the most meaningful and the best fight in the card. I don't know why they set it up like that, but this is it's making boxing fragmented, if you will, to have like boneheaded things like this. Back in the day, it was kind of HBO and Showtime. If the big fight card was on HBO, you got to watch HBO. Or it was on Showtime, you got to click on Showtime, right? If it was a Mayweather, it was a pay-per-view, you got to pay pay-per-view. Very simple. But this is the problem with Riyadh Season. Riyadh Season, they don't have a stable to draw from. They don't have a pool of fighters. So they have to work with every promotion or different promotions to put up these Riyadh Season cards. Now, it's so funny because a lot of content creators and fans, they praised this. They were like, this is brilliant. This is great for boxing. Boxing will win now because Turkey is bridging the gap and breaking up barriers so all the promoters work with each other. It's not really true. And I think this is Exhibit A showing you that that's not true, right? This is not bridging a gap, because if that was the case, how come this card in America can't be on one platform? Who on earth is going to pay pay-per-view for Shakur Stevenson and they can watch the Beterbiev in essence for free on ESPN Plus if you have an ESPN Plus subscription, which I think in America more people have ESPN Plus or the Disney bundle than is the case with DAZN ongoing, because DAZN keeps raising their prices. So for me, like I've said before, they're setting up Shakur Stevenson for failure. Furthermore, Shakur is not a Gervonta Davis. He's a skilled, crafty fighter. He gets the win. So far, so good. But he hasn't proven to be a finisher, the most scintillating fighter to watch. So to me, it really doesn't make sense. Namely, coming off of back-to-back performances, out of all Shakur fights, these last two fights have been highly criticized. So how does this make sense to put his fight on a pay-per-view off the heels of Edwin De Los Santos and a fight with Artem Harutyunyan, where people either left early or complained about and said the fights were boring? Now, I've been on record saying this. I said Shakur being a free agent, whatever he decides to do next will show me his true intent regarding the Tank Davis fight. And he made his move. He's doing a 2-fight deal reportedly with Eddie Hearn. And to me, that stipulates you do not want the Tank fight as much as you're saying it, because you were already the B-side, but going to Eddie Hearn in Riyadh season and fighting in Saudi Arabia in no way, shape, form, or fashion does that do anything, especially given the opponent, Joe Cordina, coming off of a loss and moving up in weight. It doesn't do anything in order to boost you to help bridge the gap that already exists between you and Tank in terms of star power. So to me, I'm not really impressed at all. I think this is a waste of time type of fight. I think people will be left with a sour taste in their mouth from this particular fight. I think from a business perspective, it also doesn't make sense. Better Be of Bevo is the fight on this card that actually proves something. Shakur beating up a smaller guy, and it's like they're trying to force a knockout on him, because Shakur hasn't been able to get a knockout since maybe Yoshino. So it's like they're trying to give him a silver platter, hoping he can knock out a smaller guy and thinking like, oh, that'll trick and bamboozle the fans. And then now somehow the fans will look at Shakur and be like, oh, that's the guy Tank needs to fight. But for me, where I'm sitting, I think this hurts Shakur Stevenson. And it's about time the fans start holding the fighter and their decision making and their teams wholeheartedly responsible for getting or not getting what they want, right? Some guys talk about it and then they put in the necessary steps. They align with the right people to get the job done. But you have Jaron Boots Ennis, who teamed up with Eddie Hearn, and it's not looking like he's going to get a big fight in his next fight. You have Shakur Stevenson, who's screaming, Tank, Tank, Tank. Me and Tank are the best two people in the division. And he also rates Edwin De Los Santos very highly, top 5. But then PBC has Edwin De Los Santos, El Rayo, right? Tank Davis, guys that Shakur is saying he wants to fight, but you team up with Eddie Hearn to fight Joe Cordina coming off of a loss. And then, like I said, it doesn't make sense because it's not like Cordina has a belt. You're the guy with the belt. So really, what does this do for Shakur Stevenson outside of a cash grab and you're making money to fight someone that you should beat on paper? And I told you, I'm not really a fan of fights like this because they really don't matter. So with that being said, it only can hurt you more than it can help you, if that makes sense. Meaning if Shakur goes the distance, if Shakur doesn't knock him out, if he doesn't hurt him, if he doesn't knock him down, then the pressure's on you because no one gave the guy a chance anyway. So I don't really fancy fights like that because it's just ultimately a waste of time where there's more that can go wrong than can potentially go right. Shakur, if he knocked out Cordina in the first round, that's the best possible outcome for Shakur. And then people would be like, that was such a waste of time. That was such a mismatch. So even in a fight like this, even if you body Joe Cordina in the first round, which is the best a fighter could hope for, get a easy bag, make millions by only spending less than 3 minutes in the ring with somebody, then it really proves nothing for your legacy, proves nothing for anything else. People are just going to be like, that was an egregious mismatch that never should have happened. Right? Like when Senicia Estrada fought that girl that worked at Hooters and she just got blazed and bodied. People, like, it looks cool for a knockout reel if you just want to see someone get knocked out, but it doesn't really prove anything. You proved that you can beat someone who's a civilian basically and not really a pro fighter. And I'm not saying Joe Cordina is the girl that works at Hooters because he is a former champion, but he's not a champion in this division. And if boxing really wanted to get it right, then they would put guys like Cordina in with somebody capable. Put Cordina in with a Pitbull Cruz, and then the winner fights Shakur, right? That would make more sense because now if he's able to beat a guy like Pitbull Cruz, people would just have to shut up. They would be like, oh, he's nice enough to be the named guy in the lightweight category. Now people might have some level of desire or respect for the candidate to see the fight at lightweight. But clearly that is not what this is about. And again, you guys said this was great for boxing, and Riyadh's season was putting on allegedly the fights that you said you wanted to see. This is not one of them. And to put Shakur on pay-per-view makes even less sense.